I wasn't raised to hate anyone. I didn't grow up in a super religious family, and I wasn't really into politics either. I was just normal. Beer on the weekends, loud music in the car, hanging out with the guys. Grad school was hard, but I was doing okay. That was until he showed up. His name was Kareem. He transferred into our program during my second semester. Quiet guy, always smiling, always polite. But something about him just rubbed me the wrong way. It wasn't that he was Muslim. I mean, I didn't even really know what that meant, if I'm being honest. I guess it was more the way he carried himself. Like nothing ever fazed him. He didn't drink, didn't party, didn't date, just studied, prayed, helped people, and kept to himself. He didn't even curse. Who the hell doesn't curse in grad school? At first, I just ignored him. But over time, I started noticing things. People liked him. Professors praised his work. Girls actually talked to him, and not in a flirty way, but with this weird, genuine respect. He didn't even try, and yet somehow he was better than all of us. That pissed me off. I remember one night, me and a couple guys were at the bar talking about a brutal exam we had. Kareem walked by outside. He'd just come from the library or something. He waved. I didn't wave back. Instead, I said something like, "Dude probably thinks he's too good for us." One of my buddies laughed. "He's harmless, man. Just a religious guy." Yeah, religious. That word started gnawing at me. I didn't get how someone could believe in something so blindly. 5 prayers a day, no pork, no booze, no sex before marriage. I mean, what kind of life was that? And the craziest part? He looked happy, like truly content. That's when I decided I was going to figure out what his deal was. Not because I was curious, not because I respected him, but because I wanted to prove that he was fake, that no one could possibly live like that and be real. So I started watching him, subtle at first, not stalking or anything. I'm not a psycho, but I'd sit near him in class, watch how he took notes, listen to the way he talked to people, polite, grateful, calm, too calm. It got under my skin. Eventually, I started Googling stuff about Islam, just so I'd have ammo, for when I confronted him. I wanted to ask him a question so sharp, so smart, that he'd slip, that he'd stutter, that he'd finally show that all this peace and love thing was just a mask. But the more I read, the less confident I felt. There was this part in the Quran about patience and responding to evil with good, another about knowledge being more valuable than wealth, and then something about how the heart only finds rest in the remembrance of God. I remember leaning back in my chair and saying, weird. Still, I wasn't convinced. I figured, okay, maybe the book has some nice lines. So what? I kept reading, looking for contradictions, violence, hypocrisy, anything to corner him with. But somehow, the stuff I found wasn't what I expected. That's when I decided to ask him directly. I waited until a study group wrapped up and caught him on his way out. I acted casual. "Hey man," I said, "mind if I ask something?" He smiled. "Sure. Why are you Muslim?" Just like that. I hit him with it. No warning. He didn't blink. He just said, "Because I believe it's the truth." And then he smiled. Not smug, not defensive, just honest. That smile haunted me for days. I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. I didn't want my friends to know I was reading Islamic blogs at night or watching YouTube videos about Muslim reverts. I kept telling myself it was just research, just part of the plan. But somewhere deep down, I knew I wasn't just trying to expose him. I was trying to prove that his piece was fake. Because if it wasn't, then what did that say about me? I kept telling myself I was in control. Every night after classes, I'd open up my laptop, type in stuff like contradictions in the Quran or why Islam is wrong. I expected hate-filled nonsense. I expected medieval rules and outdated beliefs. But that's not what I got. I got videos of people crying while taking their shahada. I got stories of ex-addicts who turned their lives around. I got a surgeon from Texas explaining how Islam gave him peace. I got a former atheist describing how the Quran made him believe in God, and all of them sounded sincere. Too sincere. It annoyed the hell out of me. Was this some kind of mind trick? A PR campaign? Were they all just brainwashed? I started watching debates. Muslims versus Christians, Muslims versus atheists. I was waiting for someone to trip up, say something crazy, expose themselves. But every time the Muslim speaker calmly responded with logic and respect, it messed with me even more. What kind of cult fights back with patience? Meanwhile, Kareem just kept being Kareem. Chill, kind, always offer me half his lunch, always greeting me with a, "Hey, bro." I tried to annoy him once by purposely asking about jihad, thinking I'd finally catch him in some extremist slip. He just smiled and said, "Jihad means struggle. The biggest one is against your own ego." I laughed nervously. "That's convenient." He shrugged. "Doesn't make it less true." Ugh. I hated how calm he was. The truth is, I was starting to feel unhinged. I'd go out with my friends, but everything felt shallow. Drinks didn't taste the same. Conversations felt fake. I couldn't stop thinking about the stuff I was reading, about the discipline, the faith, the purpose, about how Kareem prayed 5 times a day and still managed to get better grades than me. He had peace, and I had noise. I started showing up early to campus just to walk by the prayer room. I never went in, but I'd stop by the hallway and just listen. One time I heard someone reciting something in Arabic, slow, rhythmic, beautiful. I had no idea what it meant, but it gave me chills. Another night, I sat in my car in the parking lot, watching videos of the Kaaba during Hajj. Thousands of people circling it in unison, tears in their eyes. I didn't understand what I was watching, but I couldn't look away. Something was happening to me, something I didn't want to admit. I tried pushing back. I downloaded podcasts by Islam critics, watched ex-Muslim testimonies, looked up reasons Islam is dangerous, but it all felt bitter, hollow, like people trying too hard to be angry. Then one night, this part I'll never forget, I had a dream. In the dream, I was in a desert, alone, sun beating down. I was thirsty, exhausted. I saw a figure in white robes far away. I called out, but no sound came from my mouth. The figure walked toward me, slow and peaceful, and when he got close, he didn't say a word. He just handed me water and placed a hand on my shoulder. I woke up shaking, not scared, calm, like a switch had flipped. I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? That same morning, I saw Kareem at the student lounge. I wanted to tell him. I don't know what. Maybe about the dream. Maybe about the questions boiling inside me. But I didn't have the words. He just looked at me, smiled, and asked if I was doing okay. I lied and said yes. But I wasn't. I was confused, angry, curious, hopeful, ashamed. This wasn't about revenge anymore. I wasn't trying to expose Kareem. I was trying to figure out why he had something I didn't, and whether I could ever have it too. I was losing sleep. Like, literally. I'd lie in bed staring at the ceiling, my mind racing with questions I couldn't answer. About life, about death, about meaning. I didn't know if I was going crazy or waking up for the first time. Kareem never pushed me to talk. He never brought up religion unless I did. That made it worse somehow. Like, he wasn't selling anything, but I was still buying it. One Thursday afternoon, I followed him. Yeah, I know how that sounds. I knew he went to mosque on campus for Jummah every Friday, but I'd never actually seen it. So that day, I waited outside the prayer room. He didn't see me. He went with a few others, some students, a couple professors, even a janitor I recognized. I stood outside like an idiot, hands sweating. I wasn't even sure what I was doing there. Spying? Learning? Sabotaging? A guy walked past me and held the door open. "You coming in, man?" I panicked. I was just looking for the bathroom." He nodded. "It's right next door. But the khutbah is about to start if you're curious. All are welcome." He said it so casually. All are welcome. I didn't go in that day. I just stood outside for 20 minutes, listening through the door. The imam had a warm, deep voice. He talked about gratitude, about remembering God in tough times. about showing mercy to those who hurt you. That last part hit me like a punch in the chest. I walked straight to the library afterward, sat in the back corner, and just stared at the wall. Was I the one who hurt Kareem? Was I the villain in this story? Later that night, I texted him for the first time. Me. Hey man, you free tomorrow? I got some questions. Kareem. Of course, bro, anytime. We met at a coffee shop. I came armed with questions, real ones this time. Not to trap him, but because I actually wanted to know, what's it like to pray 5 times a day? How do you know God hears you? Don't you ever get tired of following all those rules? Do you ever doubt? He answered everyone with patience. Not once did he preach. Not once did he act superior. He just shared. I doubt all the time, he admitted. But doubt isn't the enemy. Arrogance is. I let that sink in. A week later, I went to the mosque again. This time, I walked in. They gave me a chair near the back. Nobody stared. Nobody whispered. Someone even brought me a bottle of water and said, "Glad you're here, brother." Brother. I wasn't one of them. Not yet. Not even close. But they called me that anyway. The khutbah that day was about repentance. The imam said something I'll never forget. God doesn't expect perfection. He expects sincerity. He loves those who keep coming back. That line cracked me open. When the prayer started, I didn't know what to do, but I watched, listened, the rhythm of the recitation, the unity and movement. It was like music and silence and stillness all at once. Something in me broke, or maybe healed. I left that prayer room with wet eyes and a racing heart. I didn't say the shida that day. I wasn't ready. But for the first time in my life, I felt like I wanted to believe, like there was something bigger, something real. And Kareem, he didn't say, "I told you so." He didn't even smile smugly. He just patted me on the back and said, "Whenever you're ready." It took me a few more weeks. I kept going to mosque, sitting quietly in the back, listening, watching, feeling. There was something deeply humbling about watching grown men press their foreheads to the ground. Doctors, professors, janitors, students. No ego, no show, just surrender. Kareem never asked how I felt. He never pushed me. That's what made it easier to talk to him. One night, we were walking back from the campus library. It was cold, and we were both sipping bad vending machine coffee. I stopped him mid-sentence. "I think I believe." He looked at me, confused. "Believe what?" "I think I believe in all of it. God, the Prophet, the Quran. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it all finally makes sense." He didn't say anything, just smiled. "Then say it," he said softly, "when you're ready." So I did, right there, on a dimly lit sidewalk with a half-empty coffee in my hand. Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. I didn't cry. I didn't hear angels singing. But I felt, still, like my heart had stopped screaming. It was quiet in a way I had never experienced before. After that night, everything changed and nothing changed. I was still in grad school, still buried in research, still stressing over deadlines. But the noise inside me had stopped. The world didn't suddenly become perfect. I still had bad days. I still struggled. But now there was a direction, a purpose, a peace that no amount of partying or validation or normal ever gave me. One of my old friends from class noticed I stopped coming out for drinks. "You okay, man? You've been kinda MIA. I smiled. "Yeah, I'm good. Just on a different path now." They didn't get it. That's fine. I told my parents eventually. My mom cried. My dad didn't say much. It took time, but they came around. Once they saw I was more grounded, more me than I'd ever been, the fear faded. As for Kareem, he never treated me like a trophy or a project. He just became my brother in a deeper way. I once asked him, "Did you know this would happen? When I first started questioning you." He laughed. "Honestly, I thought you were going to make my life hell." "I kinda did," I admitted. "True," he said, "but it led you home." I've thought about that a lot. How I started this journey to expose him, to tear him down. to prove that no one could live the way he did and be real. But the truth? He was real, and I was the one pretending. This wasn't just a religion. It was a mirror, and for the first time, I saw myself clearly, and I didn't look away. So, yeah, I tried to ruin a Muslim man's peace, and in doing so, I found my own. Turns out, I didn't convert him to my way of thinking. He converted me to the truth I never knew I was searching for.